down. But I get up.
All right, we're live. Mike Hilleary is with us tonight. Little montage.
Tattoo artist, man. You would do good at that.
Really good stuff, Mike. He sent a lot more stuff than that, but we only keep our intros to about a minute, and we can only keep so many on there. So, Mr. Hilleary,
hello.
See you. How you doing? All right. I see your offensive title for your name. I see on there now, but it's okay. We're all adults here. Should be all right. Hopefully.
Am I allowed to say fuck during this live broadcast?
You
yes,
can,
of course.
You can. I don't know. I guess that listen, if they demonetize this live cast, I don't think it's going to really hurt us. That 15 cents is going to make a big deal.
I like to use it as a noun, verb, and adjective. So, you know.
They don't demonetize as long as you put it into that, it's for 18 and over or whatever fucking category.
Yeah, I think I already put that. I already have it listed as it's not.
Yeah, then you're fine.
Oh, it's not for kids, so it's always not for kids.
Not for pussies.
Yeah, right. Well, when you do the yes, but anyway, so we got.
Okay.
So it's a special night. We usually go Thursdays, but we're just going on a Friday tonight for two reasons. Well, really for one reason tonight. Santucci's here, so we have Tucci on, who's really good friends with Mike as well. So I wanted. Tonight. Actually, it was two of us, and I was outvoted. So it was really me against it, but Frankie and Rob outvoted me, and Justin wasn't here. So Tooch is here tonight. Mike, we're gonna have fun tonight. We're gonna just do the normal spiel with you, normal background stuff. That we did this on the podcast. Mike was actually on the podcast with Greg DeFranco, which actually was a great show. Mike, you actually.
What do you mean it actually was a great show?
No,
he sounds so surprised, right?
No.
Mike, okay.
Mike messages me and he's like, "Wow, you actually made me sound somewhat coherent." I'm like,
"Yeah." There was a lot of editing, I'm sure.
Well, you know what? It wasn't terrible. It really wasn't.
Okay.
It actually worked out really good, and I got a really great response. And that. Listen, we're not really figure painter guys except Tooch, right? And Justin but But I don't paint figures. Frankie dabbles, and Rob kind of. Rob can do it, but I want to call you a figure painter, though. That's for sure.
I'm not a figure painter. Right. Tooch is a figure painter because he's afraid of the airbrush. That's Tooch's problem. But anyways, I digress.
Getting better, but we're going to talk. It's Mike's. But so the thing is Mike did give us a background of himself on the podcast on episode 36 or whatever it was, or 36. Background on yourself right now. Just give a quick background about yourself, how you got into the hobby, kind of, sort of. Don't go back to Seattle like you did last time.
All right.
Let's talk about like what got you into it a little bit. And
I was a young lad. I won't go quite that far. I mean, I've been a figure painter for most of my life. I was doing 135th Armor. Figures are kind of where I landed. I've been doing that recently. I have a small studio set up downstairs in my basement. Used to be just a freaking table under my basement staircase. Now it's a pretty nice looking studio.
You didn't send no pictures of that?
I'm sorry?
You didn't send any pictures of that?
I've got pictures of that. I mean, I could send that.
Send it to Frankie right now.
All right, I'll send it to Frankie.
We're in the middle of the show. Now you got to do another
talking
things,
here.
Rob. You're not the producer of this shindig. You just sit there and you're my Ed McMahon. You don't talk.
Yeah, that's right. I'm the producer.
I've been painting figures for a while now, and I'm working as best I can on improving my craft and trying to be one of the better figure painters out there. There's a lot of, I mean, I don't think I am, quite frankly. There's a lot of great people out there that I'm in awe of. But I really enjoy seeing their stuff and stealing their techniques when I can and talking shop with those guys and continually trying to improve. So that's my jam.
You're definitely up there, Mike. Don't sell yourself short. You are a tremendous slouch, but we'll get to that later. But, no, you're definitely up there, Mike. Listen, I know, like, you get that official distinction at like a show like MFCA, becoming a grandmaster and things like that.
I'm still trying to figure out who I got to blow to get that, but whatever.
Well, I mean, we'll talk about that later.
Okay, fair.
But,
okay,
Frank,
might be friends.
Frankie's got it standing attention. You will get there. I guarantee it. I don't see how you won't.
I hope.
I don't see how you will not get there. You will get there. You know, some people get there earlier than others, right? Look at some of those guys who only just got to that grandmaster there, like Greg Solar, only got there a few years ago, and that guy's been doing amazing stuff for fucking years.
Yeah, so but I mean, I can't. I'll be honest. I can't say anything bad about the guys recently. I mean, just recently, Jim Rice, his stuff is just freaking amazing. Last year, Eric Swinson. I mean,
right.
That guy's he's hard to hate. You know, I mean, his work is just so freaking good. And he's a really cool guy. So, okay. You know,
you'll be in the big boys group.
I hope to be wearing the green jacket at some point.
You will, and then they'll take you out and everything. But you'll definitely get there. And Rob, you were asking, how do you become a grandmaster? So, Mike, that was you going to ask, right, Rob?
Yes, you're right.
So, what's the criteria that they it's usually body of work over the years.
So, right? I mean, I think it's a combination of things. It's body of work. It's also what you give back to the hobby. I think it's a combination of excellence at the hobby, but also what you give back. And, you know, like if you look at the last two guys I just mentioned, right? I mean, Jim Rice has been supporting the hobby forever. He's got his own business that is a great hobby resource. He's a great freaking guy. He gives workshops to try and teach people.
He's doing it right now in MMSI.
So the people
out in Chicago.
Yeah. I think he's out there right now.
Do you get nominated then? Like how do you get?
It's a committee. They have a committee.
I honestly don't know if there's a nomination process. So here's the really fucked up thing. I feed all these guys really quality scotch, and they still don't freaking tell me like what you got. Like what are the key steps here?
Right.
Anyway.
But it is a committee of the grandmasters.
It's not like you win best in show and then you're the master.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, and look, Swinson's the same kind of deal. I mean, it's impossible to look at Eric's stuff and not be like, oh my God.
You're right there, Mike. You're right there. Come on.
It's just, it'll take your breath away. As good as I feel like and think I paint, I go to the MFCA show and I look at his stuff and I'm like, fuck. Okay.
It's humbling. His stuff is on a higher plane.
Yeah, it's insane. It's just insane. And he's another guy who's, you know, he's giving classes, he's giving tutorials, he does one-on-one coaching. So,
but that's how it should be, though, Mike. And that's
100%. 100%.
I advocate for that for like even with amps now, with the whole criteria of what it is to be what a master is. A master is somebody who sells consistently, who gives back to the hobby, not just the club, but the hobby in general, and is also represents the hobby very well. Or in your case, MFCA at that point, it's like that's how it should be. And MFCA does it right. That's how it should be.
I agree. And I will say, I mean, I've been trying to be more involved in like, you know, like at the ArmorCon show, right? Giving that presentation.
Oh my God, there's a fucking standing room only.
You know, I'm out there on Facebook. Anybody can ask me a question. I'm so happy to talk shop with whoever wants to reach out to me. Shameless plug. I have a new website out called thefigurelab.com.
There you go, Frank. You got it up. The Figure Lab.
Thefigurelab.com. Where it's basically a website for me. When I'm not painting figures, my day job is I'm a web designer. So my wife was like, "You're kind of an idiot to not have your own website." Which
Right. You got to make us a
Yeah.
website. But we use Facebook and social media, but
yeah.
come on, man. God forbid you like, hey, Rob, you guys want something for the insanity?
Well,
I'll draw you something up.
Right. So
He's like, yeah, whatever.
so like the presentation that I gave to the show in Danbury, I'm putting it out there on the Figure Lab. I'm doing a blog when I can remember to do it about like a how-to.
Right.
So basically taking the articles that I've written for various magazines and turning them into a blog. So
That's great.
I mean, I want, like I said at the Armor Show, I want to help people get into figures. I mean, I just think it's obviously because I'm a freak for this stuff, but I just think figures are the coolest thing ever. So
And you do, and listen, that's the way it's supposed to be, Mike. You want to be a teacher. What is a master? A master is a teacher. A master shows and teaches and tries to give their knowledge of how well they do it to other people for them to get better too.
yeah,
Who's the best master that we know?
The best?
Yes.
I mean, there's some really great figure painters out there, but it depends on what there is. There's so many different.
It's Yoda.
Oh, Yoda.
Oh,
Well,
Master Yoda. And what did he do? He taught. Right?
Oh, Master. Oh, dude, that you said who's the best figure painter? You talking about who's the best?
No,
Oh,
I just
master
said
in
who's the
general.
best master.
Dude, Anakin, man, he should have been a master.
no, I'm gonna go with Yoda. I think Rob's got this right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
Well, listen, he doesn't get philosophical a lot lately, but now he's kind of sober. Wait till an
Yeah.
hour from that when he's drunk.
Backwards talking, am I?
All right, but you did do a 35th scale figure for me, which came out awesome. But
Yep.
back to what you were talking about. Listen, Dave Grummett fucking loves you, man. Fantasy Figure International, which is a great magazine, man. That magazine, even though not because I'm associated with it in some way, it's fucking awesome, man. And you know that you always have a spot anytime you want to
Yep.
do something, man.
He hit me up. I got to write an article for the Nike bust that I did.
Yeah, he
and-
told me that. He's like, well, he's got to send that over. I'm like,
Yeah.
message him. He'll respond back.
Yep.
I said to
Yeah.
Mike, I go this, and then we're gonna start showing his shit. This is Mike, how humble he is. I'm like, Mike, you've been doing all these figures. Did you do an article? He's like, yeah, I got it. I go, what are you doing? He goes, I goes, oh, I thought Dave would have to reach out, or you would reach out to me. I'm like, no, just send it. He's like, really? I'm like, yes. You do something, just friggin' send it. What are you waiting for? What's your problem? What's the problem?
Well,
Needs the invite.
Christ.
it's nice to be asked, right? I mean,
Listen, you
sure,
got an open
right?
invite. Well, we're going to start looking at some of your stuff. We're going to start with some of the stuff that I consider not as good first, and then we're going to build up to the really good stuff.
oh
Right,
boy,
Frank?
All right.
No, I'm only kidding. Well, come on, Frankie. Frankie's the producer. Look at that face, man. Very intent.
He
He
is
kinda-
very intense.
He looks like Sean Connery in The Hunt for Red October. Look at him.
Well, there's some things in here that
Without
don't
the
react
hair.
well to bullets, baby.
Single ping only. Single ping.
There you
All
go.
right,
There's
what
your
do we-
first one, Mike.
All right, so Mike, what are we looking at here? All right, we're going to take off the overlay so we can see. the
All right,
video.
so this is a 1/16 scale Alpine figure. This is a John Rosengrant sculpt. So if you guys know me, you know I'm really good friends with Taesung Harms from Alpine. He and I kind of share a liver, and we have a really great time hanging out together. It's really cool as a figure painter to talk to somebody who's sculpting the figures, and he'll like pick my brain on how I want to paint certain things, and I'll talk to him about, how are you sculpting this or that to make it easier for me, because basically I'm a lazy bastard. This was a piece that John Rosengrant sculpted. Taesung modified it slightly, and then because I asked him questions about it, he just sent it to me last year before Christmas. So I was like, shit, I guess I got to paint this thing for you.
Now, is this box for box art, this one?
It wasn't for box art. I think Calvin Tan did the box art.
Oh,
And look, Calvin who I also know, just freaking great guy.
Great guy.
I think did really good box art for this. I took a slightly different take on it, but you know.
So what that base though, like when you,
I was just gonna say I like the base.
yeah,
too,
I mean the base is excellent too. When you were ready to paint this, did you know how you wanted to display it first? Because this also is very Calvin Tan-esque with that type of base.
Yeah, so it's funny talking to Calvin when I did this particular piece in a way that was very Calvin-ish. Calvin said to me, look, before I do anything with any figure, I put it on a base and I figure out what the scene is that I want to paint before I start painting anything. And so I kind of did a similar thing here. I had a great wood base. If anybody comes to the upcoming Long Island show, again, shameless plug, the Long Island Model Show in Freeport, Freeport Rec Center, November 14th, 15th, which is going to be awesome. Birch Tree John, who's there
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, he's one of the main guys at the club, but he's also a great guy and the vendor and a really talented figure painter in his own right. He has all these just phenomenal wood bases that he comes up with, and some of them are just really simple plinths, and some of them are kind of irregular pieces of wood. And so he actually had this set aside for me. He was like, I think you might like this. And looking at this piece and how it kind of sloped off on the edge.
Yeah, that's
putting it together with Taesung's figure. I was like, that might be kind of cool. I had an extra helmet from another one of Taesung's pieces. It was like, I want to have some kind of something else going on in the base. And so that's where this.
What's the base? Steve had asked what the base was. What's the base made out of?
I want to say it's like a rosewood base, and then I use the AB epoxy to kind of meld what I want it to be, and put the figure. I always put pins in my figures when I put them on. If they're going to be on a base, I put pins in both feet. If it's going to be a bust, I will drill a pilot hole and put a little thin hollow copper tube on the base of it.
Right.
So I had the torso of the figure done and ready to go. He was pinned. I put him in the base of it, put that helmet in the base of it, and let it all dry.
Okay.
And then took the figure out, put him on a painting base, and then did all the groundwork.
Now you're a big scale 75 guy, right?
I am indeed.
Now, was this scale 75, or were you doing military fig?
It was not.
Oh, what was this? What'd you paint? What Brooks was here? What'd you do?
So because I'm a lazy bastard.
You used the pre-mix sets. Look at you, AK.
I painted most of this using the AK Gen 3. The AK Gen 3 is really good. And the thing that I really like about them is, as Rob said, scale 75 artist acrylics are basically that's my go-to.
Well, they're fucking amazing. That's why.
They are. They're just great paints. Yeah. Okay. Tooch has got him. Tooch knows the deal.
I got him.
You taught me well.
I believe I senseied you on those.
Yes, you did.
But the AK pigments, the Gen 3 pigments, earlier not so great. The Gen 3 pigments they have a lot of body to them, which is nice. And they blend very nicely with the scale 75 on a wet palette.
Yeah, they do.
And so what you're seeing here is primarily AK Gen 3 pigments from, I think, the U.S. Army set mixed with some of my scale 75 paints on top of it.
So minus the base, sorry. Like, how long would a figure like that take you? It's 16 scale, I realize.
So a 1/16 scale figure doesn't take that long. The face probably took me 2 to 3 1.5 to 2 hour sessions.
Okay.
Once I get the face done, I mean, so here's kind of my jam. I'm a firm believer in if the face looks good, the rest of the figure, not that it needs to be, not that it can be shit, but I really believe the face carries whatever the piece is,
All
right?
right.
Because
That makes sense.
we're all people. We connect with the human element. And so what I was trying to do here with this face was to like give him the tired hangdog. If you read about the 3rd Infantry and where they were, this guy's seen a lot of freaking combat. I wanted him to be kind of beleaguered and just like done.
Yeah.
Once I got the face done, the rest of the body, I mean, I could probably base coat this body in, and that's what I did. I blocked in all the colors, the green jacket, the pants, probably the boots in another 2 to 3 hour session. And
Do
then
you
it's just,
do you do it all with a brush, or do you use
oh
airbrush?
yeah.
All with a paintbrush
Yeah.
or hairy stick?
Yeah. All with a hairy stick. On this scale figure, there's just really no room for airbrushing. On some of my more recent larger scale figures, I do bring in the airbrush here or there to blend things. But
Yeah.
on this scale, it's basically it's paints on a wet palette with a little vat of the AK thinner and AK ultra matte varnish that I bring onto the wet palette to thin and mix the paints.
So
Oh,
let
look
me
at
ask
Frankie
you. That's,
zooming in here.
let me ask you that. I
Yep.
know Calvin talked to me at MFCA about
Yep.
using the AK thinner on the brush and on the palette, but you're telling also the varnish, the flat varnish.
All right, say that again. I was drinking.
The flat, yeah, you're drinking. Flat varnish. What does the flat varnish do? I know the thinner helps you better easily blend your colors to get
Yep.
your highs and lows more natural. But
Yep.
what does the varnish, the flat varnish, allow you to do?
Okay, so clearly you guys didn't come to my painting.
We were doing a live show at that point where I was flipping out in the hallway. People,
All right, Rib, I don't want to hear your fucking excuses. I just got to say, I'm a little sick of the excuses. Whatever. Anyway, so there's 2 kinds of ways of blending your paints, right? So there's base coating is usually when you're just putting the paint right on the figure. A lot of the times I will mix a little bit of the ultra matte varnish in just because it flows so much better with that paint. And so Tooch, the next thing after that is if you mix a little bit more of the ultra matte varnish in, you can do what's called wet blending.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a lighter tone, let's say the green jacket, for example.
Right.
If you have a lighter tone, like for the highlights, and then a darker tone for the shadows, if you use the ultra matte varnish as a medium, but you're still mostly carrying the pigments that you're trying to do, that wet blend will allow you to mix them directly on the figure. Okay.
So what? The varnish softens the paint?
The varnish does
what's
a couple
going on?
things for us. The varnish acts, first of all, it acts as a retarder, which, I mean, I think we
Okay.
all like retarders. And sorry, that was really inappropriate. I apologize. But it will help the blend between 2 large bodies of paint. The second after that, once that's dry, if you use the thinner, that's when you start, and you can kind of do this with the ultra matte varnish. Ultra matte varnish is a little thicker, right? So when you use the ultra matte varnish, it will still bleed a little bit out. When you use the thinner, that's really for when you're doing glazing. And the reason we use the thinner, and Calvin kind of talked to us about this, is that if you use, like I was always using distilled water, for example. Distilled water is better than tap water because you don't get all the heavy metals in it. And I still use it for cleaning my brushes. But what Calvin said, and he's right, is that the thinner alleviates the tide line that you'll sometimes
It
see.
doesn't capillate. It doesn't.
It doesn't capillate, exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So it has a lower surface tension.
Right. So when I'm doing glazes, so let's say, like, Rob, do you have a shot, or Frank, do you have a shot like going into the face real quick? All right. So this is a little bit fuzzy, but you can see like that super highlight on the cheeks and around the nose. I would probably use the thinner to put some real highlights on that, because I know that when it dries, it's going to kind of soften out. And I won't have to worry about blending. I think the primary difference, I would say, between the ultramatte varnish and a wet blend and the thinner for glazing is with the wet blend, you still have to kind of blend it a little bit. With a glaze, you just put your color on and just let it sit. And then blow on it. It's acrylic paint. It dries very quickly. And then if you're not happy with it, just keep applying it layer after layer after layer, and you'll get the highlight or the shadow that you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
that's what I've always struggled with acrylic paints, because when they dry, you get that hard line, right?
Right.
And I guess if you can go back in with thinner and kind of blend it in, that I never thought to really try that, because I thought it would just ruin the paint that I had laid down. You know what I mean?
So another thing that I would say, Rob, is that before you get to the blending stage, I advocate for a sketching phase where I don't care if there's hard lines between a light, a midtone, and a shadow, right?
Okay. Yeah.
The most important thing with a sketching phase is don't worry about blending, but get your tones where you want them to be, right? The thing with figures, and I mean, I think the same is true when you're painting armor, but I don't think you guys think about it quite in the same way. We're painting light. That's what we're painting.
Right.
We're painting light.
Yes.
And so, Rob, if I look at your cranium there on the video, it's a very attractive cranium.
First Rob Adams? Yeah, it's very attractive.
It's very nice.
Thank you.
But there's a really bright highlight there on your other side. There you go. There, thank you. Which is, if I was painting it, it's almost a white flesh color, right?
Yeah, it is really. Yeah.
And on your cheeks, it's going to be, because of the way your lighting is. By the way, it's not great lighting. I just want to point that out.
No, it's not.
You should be lighted a little better, but whatever.
It's behind me.
It's not really the lighting; it's his face.
It could be his face. It could be his face. And I mean, Frankie has some really nice directional lighting. He's got some very bright highlights on the right of his face, which really accentuates the frown that I'm seeing right now. It's really very nice. Oh, now he's smiling. Oh, and now he's pensive. Oh, keep going. But on the other side of his face, there's a lot of deep shadow, right? And so what I think a lot of people miss when they're painting figures is you guys, especially you armor people who, I love and try not to look down on too much. You guys get a flesh set and you paint your flesh in flesh color, but you don't really think about the lighting. And the lighting is key to making a figure animate. Well, to make
that's where zenithal highlighting can come in handy, right? And I've always also told people there, even though on an armor piece, they're like, "How do you know where to put the highlights?" And I'm like, "Put a light source
100%
above it and take a picture of it."
100%,
and it'll show you, right?
And if you do zenithal priming, you'll get the same experience, right? I mean,
exactly.
You just have to make sure that wherever that zenithal highlight is, that is your light source for the rest of your painting across the entire.
Exactly. So whether it's from above or wherever you're going,
100%.
Most people go from above.
Yep.
But
then, I mean,
I've also found on the larger scale figures, you got to go in and do more. You got to do more.
Yeah. So, do you guys have one of my larger scale guys?
Yeah, Frankie's going to start throwing some more stuff up here. There's a lot of stuff. We're already half an hour into the show.
Let's go into some of the figures that Rob doesn't think suck. All right.
I was breaking your balls. They all suck. No, go to the.
All right, fair.
No.
Oh,
Frank,
all right.
Look at this one. This is great. This is like the Zelda, right? Was it Zelda?
So this is a great piece. So Arno Lazaro, who is one of like the freaking huge names in figure painting. I've bought books from this freaking guy. I've never met him, but if I do, I have to buy him a lot of drinks. He created a line of busts that he uses for his painting classes. And so this particular piece is an NMM figure study, but I also love it for how great it is with the flesh tone, the hair. It's a great piece.
This was in the magazine, right? Wasn't this on the Wasn't this on the cover? Part of it?
Yeah. I did.
This is all
I did a
NMM
write-up
too,
on
right?
those.
Yeah.
So if you look at this, I mean, so this is a larger scale bust, right? So now I have to think about color. I have to think about color, not just around the flesh tones, but I mean, the armor here, I'm using NMM techniques to paint the armor. Light is all I'm painting at this point. Or at least that's what I'm trying to paint. I don't always do it well, but that's what I'm trying to paint. And so, like, if you look at the highlights, so here's a great example. Look at the back of her skin. Look at that tone.
Right.
So that tone is a pink flesh from scale 75 mixed with a dark brown ochre, which kind of has a little bit of a purplish tint to it. And that's what I'm trying to paint her for flesh in shadow. And then if you go back one. So now look at how bright her boobs are, right?
Yeah.
And
They're
even
highlighted.
on the boobs,
Freaking Hampton.
can I say boobs on this one?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, good.
You can even say titties.
Darren's
Oh,
like
all right.
nice
Well, I
boobs.
wasn't trying to be too
Can you see the
offensive. My
screen
wife
of
Izzy
Darren's
in
like
the
nice
room probably
boobs?
listening to this. But even on the front shot of her boobs, go back to the front tip. Okay, thank you. You can see, I mean, just on, to the right, you can see the really bright flesh of the skin at the top of her left breast and how that kind of like slowly transitions to a darker shadow.
And you can really see like her collarbone and stuff.
Yeah,
too, like,
I mean, that's so.
yeah.
Obviously, that's what I'm trying to paint. And if you look at the cheekbone on the right side of her face, I've painted that in very much the same way I painted the back to try and make it look like a shadow tone. And,
So,
and
is
even
one
on
of-
the right side of her nose, right? Like I'm trying to carry that shadow from the right side of her nose across her face because the light that I'm trying to paint, and there's arguments of whether I've done it well or not, but what I'm trying to do is I'm imagining the light's going to be to her front left, carrying across her face and her
Right.
breast.
So
Right.
like this kind of stuff is meant to be looked at from like a specific angle, right?
So
Ish.
yeah, I mean
it's kind of hard to make it look perfect all the way around, right?
so that is the argument against non-metal metallic. And
Right.
I
That's
think
where I
it's
was
a
going with
fair,
this.
I do think it's a fair discussion. And the alternative to painting non-metal metallic is true metal metallic, which I've painted a lot of as well.
Which requires a good light source to give you the effect.
Well,
a real light source.
right. And it depends on how you want to tackle it, right? So you can paint what's called TMM, true metal metallic, using varying shades of a metallic paint. So there's a light metallic, which has got a lot of white mixed in with a silver, all the way down to a dark metallic, which is like a black metallic, almost like a gunmetal. So you can do that. And there are some people who do that really, really well. Marion Ball is one of the people who
great.
I've seen her stuff. I mean, her stuff's freaking insane. And she paints an amazing true metal metallic. she does not like non-metal metallic.
Like, I mean, I love non-metal metallic. I mean, that's
Well, and to your point though, Rob, yes, it is,
it's
yes,
directional. Like
it is directional, and you are as an artist, you are kind of assuming like, hey, my light's over here, so everything's going to do this.
It's presented in such a way
Right.
that this is the way you're supposed to look at it.
But if you go back to first principles, which I was talking about, and it took me a while to get to this point as a figure painter, if I take the position that I'm painting light, right, which is what I think my job is to do, and I say that, and this is going to sound really snobbish, and I mean it to be as snobbish as it sounds. So fuck all you guys. All right. If I think about what I'm doing in relation to like a Rembrandt or a Da Vinci or you look at their artwork, which is obviously on a flat canvas because they didn't have the benefit of the really cool fucking 3D resin that we have. They're trying to paint 3D objects, especially Renaissance and post-Renaissance, in a 3D world so that it looks like a 3D object in a 2D space. And
Perfect.
so what I think non-metal metallic does, and what I try and do with my painting in general, and what I think most of the modern top-notch figure painters, I mean, Eric Swinson 100%, he's saying before he even freaking starts a piece, hey, my lighting source is over here, and so I'm going to cast shadows this way, and maybe there will be a neon sign behind my figure, so there might be an OSL or object source lighting behind, and that's how he's rendering the 3D canvas. I will just say, as a figure painter, that's the level of challenge that I want, right?
Right. But it's never achievable to be able to look all the way around the thing.
Well,
and be like,
right.
perfect,
You have to look at this as what it is. I mean,
exactly.
And I've had people like really respected figure painters. One guy in particular kind of looked at one of my pieces and was like, so you like this non-metal shit? And I was like, well, yeah, I guess I do. Thanks for coming.
I think it's great, and I mean that is the only way to achieve it on a flat canvas, right? Is to do it that. So that's why it was a little bit surprising that this is still a big thing. Like,
yep. Well, and look, I've been doing it for years. I'm still trying to get better at it. I mean,
well, you're pretty damn good at it. I can see.
Thank you,
Frank. Let's get another one up. Frankie's a little slow tonight.
Oof.
No.
This is really good. We had a couple on the background too with this one.
Yeah. So this is a great, absolutely great piece from Black Sun Miniatures. I saw this. I was like, holy shit, I need to buy this thing right away. And it had everything about it that I wanted.
What a great piece. Look at this.
It's just so fucking cool, man. As a figure painter, you're just all over it, right? It's got textured cloth. It's got fur. It's got non-metal metallic. It's got the feathers going on. You do a little directional lighting. I mean, this piece was so freaking cool.
Oh shit! I thought the sword actually went into the base. It looked like it in the first.
It looked like it. Yeah, it did from the front shot of that other shot.
And not to get too all I showed this one time and sold it.
Oh, you got rid of this?
Oh yeah.
Somebody
was like, "Yeah, I need this." I was like, "Okay."
Okay, when was that?
I think it was at MFCA last year.
Oh, last year. I thought it was the year before when you owed me 10% of all your sales.
No,
Still waiting on that.
Rob, we're gonna have to work something out on that. Yeah. Maybe
you made a lot of money that day.
Maybe a layaway plan or 10%
something. Into the VIG is running too on that, so it's a little
again
more
though. The non-metal metallic finish on the sword looks really great.
Yeah, it does. But I want to ask this though, Mike. Yep. And I've seen you do it because I watched you start doing which you didn't send the pictures of the Marilyn Monroe bust, which was
Oh
fucking
yeah.
the eyes on this guy. The eyes.
Yep.
These eyes on this person are outstanding. Look at like it looks. How
Zoom
did
in,
you-
Frankie. I know you can't.
I don't know. Can you zoom into that, Frankie?
No, you
Like,
No, I enlarged the picture, but then it gets all fuzzy. So
okay,
Yeah.
so Mike, talk to me here with those eyes. What do you do to start those eyes? Because those look real and real, those things. And I like that she's looking off, like she is looking straight because I guess the head is tilted. But how do you get those eyes like that? What do you do? How do you do it?
So it's a first of all, I think a lot of guys will paint eyes last on a figure or on a face, and I actually paint them early because I believe that the eyes are like that's the thing that connects me with it.
Wouldn't it make it painting the eyes a little bit easier if you go out of the lines a little bit to blend the skin back in and tone it in that way?
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of the times, and I have a lot of progress shots, which I probably should have shared with you guys, but like on this one in particular, like, so I'll get the basic. So first of all, every single bust that I paint that's got flesh, I will airbrush a coat of pink flesh over the figure. And that's kind of where I start from. And then using the scale 75 artist acrylics, there's a pretty easy recipe and it's in my figure presentation. It's also primarily in their kit if you get it. You mix a couple of the paints and you have your first highlight. And yeah, that's actually a pretty good shot.
Yeah, look at that.
It's not bad. Yeah.
You mix your first highlight and then your first shadow. Once I get through almost just that, then I will start painting the eyes. And so the way that I do eyes typically is I will do a wash of a dark shadow. So typically using the scale 75 is I'll mix the crimson and the moss green. Mixing those two together gets you a nice kind of red brown. And I'll thin that way down using thinner. And I will wash that into the eyeball, wherever the sculpt of the eyeball is. And then I'll also put it on the eyelid above and below.
Okay.
All right.
I'll let that dry, which again,
so it defines your area.
Exactly. It shows me the detail of, and that's so much of all of these things is these sculpts are fantastic for the most part of the stuff that we get. And so using washes will bring out the detail. I know it's the same thing with armor, right? I mean,
yeah,
doing panel lines or rivets or stuff like that, that'll bring out the detail. So once I see the detail, then I'll do a wash of the pink flesh and some crimson, and I'll put that in a little bit thicker. Because if you think about a human eye, what we typically see is I think it's called the Jesus Christ. All right, I've been drinking. So
the little pink part?
Yeah. So there's a gland here that goes here, and then underneath the eyelid, we'll see it as well. So you want to have like a dark reddish pink outline in your eyeball area. Then I will paint the eyeball using violet gray, which is kind of it is what it sounds like. It's a very light purpley violet gray, because very little of the human eye when looked at is pure white.
Right.
And once I have that in place, and I make sure that I still see some pink here, and pink underneath. So I'm not using a wash for that. I'm using thinned with a little bit of the ultramatte varnish, but still enough that the paint's not going to run, if that makes sense. Okay. So once I have that, then I'll paint in the eyeball or the iris area. And
which
usually
you cut the top and the bottom off, right?
I'm sorry?
You cut the top and the bottom off, really?
Well,
ish.
It depends on what you're trying to do with the eye. Like on this one in particular, like I thought she looked more interesting looking a little bit to the right.
Right.
I thought that gave her a little bit more character. So yes, I'm not painting a ball because almost never when you look at a human eye do you see a full eyeball.
Right.
But so on this one, you can see I'm kind of cutting off the top a little bit, but you almost see the whole bottom.
Right.
And so I'm painting that in with the green gray. Once that's fully, and green gray is basically like an off black. I don't want to use pure black here because if I need to, I want to be able to go back in with the pure black to add extra detail. So the off black is a nice dark tone that still gives me a little bit of variance where I can play with it. And then I'll paint in the color of the eye. So in this case, it's blue. So I'm mixing, I think in this case, I mixed a cobalt blue with probably a white or a pearl gray, which is a very light gray. And I'll do 2 tones of that. Usually I'll do it in a diagonal. So the top part is a darker tone. The bottom part is a lighter tone.
I see where you're going.
And what that does is it gives the eyeball a little bit of dimension.
You taking notes, Tooch? Taking notes?
I'm taking lots of notes.
And then I'll drop again using the green gray, the actual iris, right?
Right.
And then once that's in and I'm happy with it, then you can go in and add some details. So I might add a little bit of extra white or pearl gray to that blue. And I'll do a little bit of dot here and there on the lighter side of it to give it. I mean, again, if you look at an eye, you'll see a lot of differentiation. On most scales, you really just have to hint at that. Anything below 1/10, don't even think about it. But 1/10, 1/12, those scales, you just want to hint at it. And then if you look at her eyeball there, I've painted the bottom edge of the eyeball. So I've pre-painted it with the violet gray. Then I will do a line of the pearl gray, which is a lighter gray, still not white, but pearl gray on the bottom edge of the eyeball. I'll add a tinge of the green gray, which is a darkening color, to that violet gray just underneath the eyelid, because the eyelid does cast a shadow on the eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then as a last thing, I will go and add a tiny drop of art white for a glint of catch light.
Okay.
Typically,
Yeah.
I'll go.
I see it in the side right
Yeah.
there.
So some people will do it on the iris or that the tiny bit of the black. I like to do it just to the side of it, and then I'll carry it over on the other side of the line that carries up of the outside of the eye.
Do you varnish the eye when you're done to give it that?
I do not.
No.
No, yeah, I was going to ask, are you a glosser? Because
I am not.
There seems to be two
I,
two camps when it comes to eyeballs and lips and stuff.
I've
right?
seen that, and there's a lot of guys who do that, and I think it looks great. I've become a purist with
just the paint.
Everything's just the paint.
Yeah.
And I want it to be as flat as possible so that what you see is what I intend you to see.
Again, like flat painting, right?
Yeah.
Was that
what you
scar on
see
the
is
face?
what I intend you to see? And I mean, so here's
it's
another
Tom.
example, right? I mean,
Where's Tom?
Hold on, back to that one thing. Was that scar on her face, or did you add that? Was that already in the scope?
that scar was on the face, and then I embellished it a little bit.
Okay, it's making sure because that's really cool. All right, let's go back to Mr. Hanks. That's awesome. The Captain Miller.
Yep. Great. Another great bust to paint up.
You got the full one, right, Frankie?
Well, yeah.
Well, no, I couldn't remember if I sent it there. I saw this in person. This was excellent. I think, was this? No, you won. Did you get best? Didn't you get
I think I got best. The This might have won me best figure at ArmorCon last year.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And then I think I got best GI for might have been Long Island last year.
Yeah, this is awesome. This looks great. Now, who makes this figure? Or this
Young
bust?
Miniatures.
Okay.
Great. It's just a great piece. I mean,
The one with Damian Lewis from Band of Brothers Winters, is it the same company or different?
yeah. I
Same.
think I sent you guys a copy of that one too.
I don't know.
No.
I don't think I got Winters. I don't think we
No?
got Winters
All
in there.
No
No.
Winters. Nope.
But I actually have Winters in my pictures.
Okay.
I think I do. Let me see here a minute.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I got to say. Young Miniatures. If there's any newbies out there, these guys almost paint themselves. I mean, the sculpts are they're just phenomenal. There's really not too much prep work you need to do. The biggest challenge with this guy is the helmet was separate from the head when I paint, or from the primary part of the head. So I had to make sure that I painted in a little bit of shadow above the bridge of the nose and up, because if I painted that all in bright light, it would have looked weird.
You know, I think I got rid of those pictures. I was like, fuck it. I'm getting rid of these.
Yep. I loved this piece, man.
Yeah, this is a good one right here.
This was such a great piece. This is a fair miniatures piece.
Now, you had this at, you had this at the Long Island show last year, this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I remember this one. This is really good, man. The colors are out. Wow. Now, I'm going to say that this is all scale 75, right?
This is actually, scale 75 paints, yes. The figure is a 1/10 scale bust from FER Fair Miniatures.
Now, did the background come with it too, or did you make that?
No, I did some research. I mean, I'm a history, like all of us, I'm a history fucking fanatic. So this particular figure was the Coldstream Guard. And if you do any research on where they were in Waterloo, the Coldstream Guard were the people who were defending the Hougoumont, which is on the right of Wellington's position in Waterloo. And the French attacked it. Jesus, I want to say like 10 different times. And so I wanted to make it look like he was part of the group defending the gate.
Okay.
And so the gate there is sculpted out of balsa wood, and the bricks are all carved foam.
Very nice. Now the plaque on the front, the name.
Yep.
Did you do that yourself, or you get that made somewhere?
I did that. I happen to have the benefit of being a graphic designer with a nice printer.
Okay. So what do you use, like Adobe
Illustrator?
Yeah. Really nice. That adds a lot to it. Now talk to us about this, the painting on this, because the other stuff that we've seen, even though there's a lot of color to it, this one is really colorful.
Yeah, I mean, so as I'm sure you've seen from all my stuff, I mean, I used to just do historical, and then once I started doing fantasy and fell in love with fantasy, I started bouncing back and forth. And I will say to anybody who's out there who's an aspiring figure painter, especially armor guys, do not be afraid of fantasy stuff, because I learned so much about color and color theory and how to paint color doing fantasy, and I think it really helped my historical painting.
I think it would too. A lot of shows I've been to, man, the historical guys, they look pretty, I don't know, flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Yep.
Whereas you look at the fantasy shit and there's all kinds of stuff going
Oh,
on.
yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
why
Well,
don't you
and
guys
you
do
know,
that
it's
to
funny,
that? Right?
Jim Rice is another guy that was like,
Yeah.
That kind of followed the same arc. I mean, honestly, I think he did it before I did, so I can't say he followed my arc. Probably I followed his. Painting fantasy stuff just kind of opens your brain to colors. And then when you go back to doing historical stuff like this, I wanted to paint that red so that it caught in the light. even the highlight on the brim of his Shako, I
I like
wanted
the
that
gloves. I like
to
the gloves
catch,
too.
Yeah.
The
you
gloves looks really nice too. Like, I mean that's always been my disappointment because my opinion of figure painting is more the fantasy style. Like, you're pushing everything, right?
Right. But I think you can do that in historical too. You just
Yeah,
have to
you totally can. I wish more people would do it. That's
you
what
got
I'm
to have the
saying.
stones to just throw it out there, man.
Yeah,
You know?
do it.
Now, what is this? This is another nice guy here. I put this on the thumbnail. This is really cool.
Well, we should
Yeah,
report.
this is another fair miniatures piece. This is a Hussar, just a fantastic piece. Another one that actually you can do in a variety of regimental colors. I believe, and I might get dinged here by somebody who's out there, but I believe I picked the 5th Hussars. And it's funny. So Greg DeFranco, my good friend who was on the podcast,
Yeah.
when I first showed him this piece, he looked at it and was like, it's just too bright. There's too many colors. And
Really? Wow.
well, and even though I hate to admit when Greg's right, because I'll never fucking hear the end of it, there's a lot of chromatic colors here, which the eye tends to just go nuts with. And even though each one of the uniform colors I think is as true as I could get, they might have a vibrance collectively that's a little too much. And that's another good point when you're painting figures, especially when you really get into it, is you have to think about each one of your pieces as a collective whole, right? So it's a little tough on Napoleonic figures because you're dealing with the colors of the figure. Right. But Greg's point was the blue here
is too light,
is probably a little too bright, a little too sky blue. Maybe it would have been better if it was a little bit more of a gray blue.
But couldn't you fix that with just like a glaze of a darker?
At that point, I'd already painted it, and so I kind of touched it up a little bit and said, "Fuck you, Greg." And just
I totally get that. But I mean, if it came out that way, and you were thinking to yourself, "Man, that's a little bit bright."
Yeah, it's a little. I mean, I researched the colors, and I was happy with the depiction of the color. But when it all gets put together, it's a little bit crayon-y, if that makes sense. And so, and I mean, again, what a great example. I consider myself a fairly accomplished figure painter, and I was happy with my execution of this.
Yeah,
but
I think it looks great.
Still look at that and hearing Greg in my ear and wanting to stab him in the throat. Be like, yeah, all right, he's probably right.
What happened to Greg? Oh, he got stabbed in the throat. Mike stabbed
I told you.
Yeah.
He gets in your head. He gets in your head and he doesn't leave.
Yeah. I don't know what happened.
Let's go controversial here. Do you use dry brushing for anything?
I do not.
All
of that is pigment on. Because dry brushing, I will say I've certainly done my fair share of dry brushing, but with the exception of rare instances, it muddies the detail that you're trying to bring out.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You can tell even on armor.
You can
even on armor.
Yep.
You can tell the ones that had it brushed on and blended a little bit, or someone who dry brushed. You're right; it does muddle it all up. This is Joan of Arc, right?
So this is one of my last recent pieces. This is Joan of Arc again from Young Miniatures. As you can tell, I'm in love with Young Miniatures pieces. I loved this for a variety of reasons. You guys have probably seen that Joan of Arc I did a couple years back with the full non-metal approach, right?
I think so, yes.
With the big spear. So this was another take.
Oh, with the spear. That's the one with the spear?
I remember that one. I've seen it.
This is another take on her. And I was trying to, I loved the armor, the gambeson, which is the padding underneath the armor, and how I wanted to render that, and her face. And then because of the way the sculpt was, I was like, I need to put this on a background plinth and do something with like the light shining down from heaven.
Really cool. Very nice presentation on this one.
So I painted this not super rendered, but not terrible version of the French flag and the gates of Orleans.
So when you're doing metal or non-metal metal, do you use a lot of blues with that?
So it does depend on, like all things, you have to think about the environment. Where is this thing living, right? So I knew I wanted to paint her in sunlight outside the gates of Orleans. So thinking that, I used blues as a large part of the color because you're going to see a lot of reflected light from the sun and the sky above her.
Right.
The box art version of this has her, I think, in what's the big cathedral there in France? Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And they have her completely covered in lights shining through the stained glass.
Oh, so it's
and
all
it's
different
fantastic.
colors and shit.
So,
yeah. Fuck that.
When I'm painting non-metal metallic, I generally always start. I kind of do the opposite of what a lot of guys do. I start from the dark colors and then build my way up. So I painted her, primed her in that green gray, which is that kind of dark off black color, and then I build that up from there. And you'll see some of that, and some of the. I'm not sure how many pictures I sent you, Rob, but you'll see some of that. Oh,
yeah,
I love her.
Frankie, this mix. You're ready to say so? Yeah, any picture you sent to me, I sent the whole package to my producer and my AV guy, Frankie Donati.
Okay. Well, okay. So this is a totally different piece. This is another one from Black Sun, and I freaking love.
Wow, this is so
bust
cool.
Was just fantastic.
This looks like something from Vikings, right? Vikings.
Yeah, it's just such a great bust, and I had a lot of fun playing with the light.
I think Catherine Winnick's character probably
inspired yeah. Kind of with the woven hair on the top,
right. Braids too, yeah.
The cool.
Gun, the guns, her breast coming out,
the guns. Her breasts, her boobs.
The chainmail on the sides of her bodice, the fur behind her. I also did some research. So if you go back up to the front picture of her, I actually looked up. So both of those tattoos that I painted on her arm and her leg are Viking tattoos. The ones on her face too, or what? Celtic knot, and the runes on her leg actually say wolf in Viking.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
What about the ones on her face?
Those are just usually kind of tribal.
Okay.
So, Mike, I got to ask you this. All right.
Yep.
So, when you're painting a figure like this, now obviously you added the tattoos and things like that, and you knew what you were going to do probably going in. Sort of. Like you have a plan. I mean, you can always get fucked up at some point. So, but the point I'm trying to make is there, especially on this, there's a lot going on.
Yep.
How do you know where my wife wants to go up? And, you're an idiot, Darren. Like, how do you know what colors you're going to use and how you're going to use them? Do you know going in, or do you just, as you're looking at the bust and as you're laying down colors, it evolves into something that, like, you have an idea of the colors you're going to use, or how do you go about it?
So it's a little bit of both. Like on that French hussar, for example, I thought, I'm going to use these colors because this is what the hussar is supposed to be.
Right.
On something like this, it's a little bit more up to the painter, right? And the same with the Valkyrie painting. Obviously, she's got a lot of flesh tone on her, so I knew I wanted that. I was actually thinking about Catherine Winnick from the Vikings.
That's her.
So I wanted her to be blonde and tough as nails.
Yeah.
I really liked, you can see, like, I did a little bit of the silver NMM with this, but really I played much more with the with the gold and the bronze NMM.
Yeah, there's a lot of gold in there, and that
I love
because
that, though. That looks great.
I think the gold has probably got to be
enough.
harder than the silver, right?
Well, I mean, they're both equally. You just have to have the right colors. But in this piece, I wanted to play with that. She had yellow in her hair, so now I want to extend that through the piece, right? So this is one where I have to say I was very pleased with how I weaved all the colors together to create a whole.
Did you bringing this to Long Island?
Yeah, I brought it to Long Island and then I sold it at NMM 2 years ago.
Oh, you don't have this anymore?
I don't.
What's the bowstring made out of?
It is. I got a buddy who's a fly fisherman, and he gave me fishing line.
All right, cool.
This is
So I wove fishing line on one side, tacked it down with a little cryo, and then put it on the other side.
This is excellent
Nice.
piece, Mike.
I love this piece.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is. I don't
You
know how
didn't love it
I don't-
that much. You sold it.
Yeah, I don't know how you
Well.
part. I don't know how you part with that stuff, man.
It's tough,
Ah.
but you know.
No,
So here's
but
the
what-
thing. I mean,
what-
what am
it's
I
not
going
like
to
you
do?
have
Am I
room.
gonna-
It's a bust. It's. I mean, come on, Christ.
Hey.
If you were to go downstairs into my
Put up
studio
pictures.
and see all the shit that I've got there, I mean, I have so many pieces. If somebody really appreciates a piece of work that I've done and they want to then pay me for it and then appreciate it, great.
Listen, I'm going to say
Yeah,
this again.
see
I
ya.
said it on the podcast, and I'm going to say it again. You weren't selling pieces until I
Oh,
got
Jesus
in your ear.
Christ, Riv.
10%. You sold a lot.
Ugh.
It's more, River's more disappointed.
Thank
than
you.
untold
Thank you,
depressed.
Frank. Thank
You
you.
know what, Frank? You know what? I got to revoke your admin status. I mean, how do I do it? Nah, listen, I don't know how you part with that, Mike. That is an awesome piece, man.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I mean, I took a lot of pictures of it. I wrote
know.
an article on it. And now
what was that for?
somebody, you know, I know whose collection it's in. That's
Who
awesome.
did you write the article for? Was that FFR?
It was for. I don't think it was for Dave. It was for Figure Mentors.
Oh, okay. Because I'm gonna say I don't think that was in there. That was a great piece. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, once you got all the accolades,
I know.
and everything that
I mean,
just fuck.
Because otherwise, it's literally just collecting dust on my.
I've
shelf.
been giving away a lot
Right.
of my stuff lately too.
Yeah, I
to
mean-
people. So
And I was gonna go there with you too. I'm like, you got a fucking whole like 2 other rooms full of shit that's already
Right,
built,
right.
and like
you can always do it again. You can always make another one.
Yeah, if you have those skills, I'll just do it again.
Right.
Not a big deal.
Well,
and actually, I'll take what I learned from the first one and
Right.
apply it to the second one.
Yeah.
It'll be better.
I'm always trying to get better. So
Right.
Hopefully, sometimes
Yep.
things, you try the same technique twice and it doesn't work, and you're like, fuck.
yeah.
No, this is the background you're making here. What
Yeah.
was it?
So Frank, jump a couple frames ahead of this.
Frank's a
One
little
more.
slow tonight. Frank's tired. He had a rough week. Look at him.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Oh, this is the ogre.
So this is the ogre. So this is a great
Fucking love
piece.
that.
So Taesung actually was at the MOSA show or some show out in Europe.
Oh, the Marson show.
Mosa.
Marson show.
Mosa, yeah. And there's a really talented Greek sculptor, painter who they were having drinks at a bar, as will often happen with Taesung. And he had an extra version of this bust. And he's like, hey, do you know any figure painters? And Taesung was like, yeah, I actually do. He said, give this to him, have him paint it up. So
Oh, wow.
I had never really painted up an ogre. I've done I've done my fair share of fantasy stuff, but I'd never done like this. So I wanted to try it out, and I was really happy with how he came out.
Yeah, I like it. It's great.
And so my plan for this is he's going to be in front of that backdrop. And if you go now to the backdrop, so you can see there, I kind of built with balsa wood and a little bit of sheet styrene, a kind of like a door
doorway,
lintel and frame.
Yeah.
And then I just want you guys to know, I actually physically bled for this. I bent paperclip
Oh, is that
mostly
paper?
using my fingertips to create this neon thing.
That's so
And
cool.
so I painted it white. And so the next step I have to do is I have to airbrush the glow on that and then highlight it again. And then that's going to go on the very top of that background that you just saw. And I'm going to call him the bouncer.
Oh, that's so cool. Kind of looks like Santucci when he wakes up in the morning of like a show.
He
And
looks
I'm
good.
trying a couple different things here. So
He almost looks like he got punched in the face and had a bloody nose at some point.
Yeah. Wow, that's so cool.
I'm trying to do a couple different things here. You can see some OSL from the lit cigar.
Yeah.
And then once I figure out what the color scheme on the back for the
it's a
neon
cigar.
sign is going to be, some of that color is going to be bleeding across his back.
Oh, look at his Spivey, who I was talking about to you before, Mike. Spivey.
Okay.
Yeah, he just joined up, Mikey Spivey. It's another one.
Sorry, I didn't realize it was a cigar in there. So
Yeah, if you see the side shot of it, you can see that.
Now I get what's going on. All right, thank you.
Now, what's the name of the company? This guy that tastes.
You know, I don't think it's a company. I think it's this random guy. He's a Greek sculptor and painter, and he's fantastic. And I can't remember his name. I'm pretty sure it's like Mamlikos, but I think that's the way all Greek names start. So I apologize to the Greeks out there.
Yeah.
But he's a lot of fun. I'm trying to finish him up and then bring him to Long Island.
That's awesome. Well, you got like a month, right?
Yeah,
less than
about.
You got enough time. What do we got here?
So this is a piece from Mindwork Games. Really love. So this is another piece. Like Jim Rice actually did this guy for MFCA. I want to say 2 years ago, but he did the 75 millimeter full figure, and I fucking loved it. It was so cool. And so I went out and bought the bust, which is, I think, like a 1/12 scale bust, and painted them up. It's based on an illustration. And if you go to Mindwork Games, it's such a fantastic site. They have all of these different illustrators and artists that do amazing fantasy work. And then some of those pieces are also turned into 3D resin that you can purchase.
Is that shadow back there? Is that his shadow? Or did you paint that on there?
That's actually that's the shadow that's built into it. I painted the kind of the glow of the forge.
Yeah.
And you can see on his torso and on the bronze of his belt, I painted a lot of the glow of the forge.
Yeah, that looks great. Too bad it's a bench shot.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I try to get on this guy. Well, he takes good pictures sometimes.
Yeah, so you can see kind of the glow underneath his arm on that one.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of Stallone in his face.
I think that you've captured the lighting on the muscles really, really well.
Yeah.
Like you can see all the definition, but it's well shaded.
Thank you.
He looks like
I mean, I'd never done something like this before, and the bust was fantastic, and I just had a blast painting it.
Like I was saying, I said it twice out of but his face kind of looks like Stallone with like a Roman nose.
Yeah. You know what? When you look at him, it looks like freaking Rocky, dude. Totally.
Yeah, it does. All right. This is another one. Go back. This is another great piece right here, man. Wow.
You should call it Adrian.
Yeah, Adrian.
Yeah.
So this is one that I just recently finished. I'm very happy with her. Talking about before when I was like, I want to paint like some of the masters. I tried to paint this in more of a classical style, if that makes sense. So you'll see, like in the flesh, there's a lot of green tones. There's a lot of blues.
Yeah.
See, that shit's counterintuitive. It really is.
Well, totally, man. You don't think about it, but like, there's a thing called verdaccio underpainting that a lot of people try, which is you paint and highlight in green before you put any flesh tones on it. And I know what the style is, and I get it. It's too much extra work for me because I'm a lazy bastard.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of truth in flesh having green, blues, and purples in it. And part of the presentation that I gave to the ArmorCon, if you look at classic paintings, we don't think about it, but if you really break it down, if you look at some classic paintings, even some classic illustrations. So I think, I had like a Norman Rockwell, Rosie the Riveter. I had a Rembrandt, and then I think a Raphael. And if you look at how they are rendering flesh tones, and granted in a 2D space, but still.
Yeah, but I mean, even I opened my box of scale 75 skin tones, and there's a green in there. And I'm like, what the fuck is this for?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and so I will tell you that green mixed with pink flesh is a phenomenal shadow color.
See, sweet. So and I mean, they do give you kind of a cool little sheet that shows you how to use it. It does make sense, but
if you follow just from what they give you, it's very similar to what I do for painting faces.
Right? Yeah, it's incredible.
It's great.
Where do you buy these? Darren was asking where you purchase some of these busts, like this one in particular.
Well, so a lot of them I'm buying online. So like this one, for example, came from CA Sculpts. There are, so I'm going to give a shout out to 3 great figure or model supply companies. The first is going to be Dave Youngquist at Last Cavalry.
Yep.
I love Dave. Great guy, great figure painter. He's got all the stuff that you would possibly want. And the website's pretty good.
Last Cavalry's great.
Yeah. So that's one place. Jim Rice's website is another one.
Sabo Miniatures.
Sabo Miniatures. Jim actually does some sculpts too, which his sculpts are freaking phenomenal. So, and he's got all the different paints that you could possibly want. Another one is Michigan Toy Soldiers, another good supplier.
Yeah, I've been using Michigan Toy Soldier for years.
And then, a lot of these, I'll go directly to the manufacturer. I mean, look, not to get political, but the tariffs are a real pain in the dick.
Right. They are.
So you got to be careful of the tariffs now because we're paying tariffs on some of these things, but
yeah, it's crazy. You can't even get shit. So it's not even that you're paying. You can't get it.
I know.
We'll finish up a couple more here and then we'll get to the lowdown. What is this like an elf or something?
This is an elf witch. This is, I wanted to say she's from Ignis Arts, which is another great bust manufacturer. But I think this is from, oh God. Hang on. I'll tell you in a second.
Come on, Mike. Can't you be prepared?
The glowing ball, and I like the tree in behind. That actually sets it up. The first picture, Frankie,
yeah, that's great.
That puts it into perspective, right? Like she's hanging out in the forest and shit like elves do.
Thanks, Frank. Real asshole.
All right, hang on. I'm working on this. I'm working on it.
When Riv plays Dungeons and Dragons, he's always the halfling. Bazinga. You're a real jerk. The freaking abuse I take.
Come on, he's Hobbit status, not fucking. Well, I guess it's the same thing.
This is great stuff. Even the little elves got big boobs. Christ, they all got big boobs.
Oh yeah. Well, this was another great piece where I was like, okay, so I didn't want to quite do the Eye of Sauron for the orb that she's holding, but I wanted to do some OSL.
Yeah, you can see the green on her arm and on her.
Yeah, on her arm, on the metal.
Boob. Yep. Underboob? I don't know what else you call that.
Yeah, there's some green underboob going on there.
Yeah.
I really support green underboob.
Me too.
And so this was all right. I can't come up with the name of the figure company, but it's great.
Dude, that's a great display with the tree coming out of the background, right?
Yeah,
Rob?
so I got some of the Armand Bayardi stuff.
Yeah, that is
stuff.
Armand Bayardi, right?
And so I cut them up and put them coming out, and then painted the other ones in the background so she was dimensional.
Dude, the Armand Bayardi stuff cannot. It's retired. He's
Oh,
retired.
it's good stuff, man.
If you got it, you got to hold on to it. These guys not around. I used to try to get him drunk. He used to come
I got a shitload of that stuff in my stash downstairs.
Mike, he used to come to Amps East or ArmorCons years ago religiously.
Yeah.
And we used to always try to get him drunk at the bar to try to get his secret or how he casted his stuff. He's a jeweler by trade, though. That was a big thing. Is this like William Wallace? No. Is this like a William Wallace?
So this is
Worse than
another FDR miniatures. This is actually ready for it, guys. This is Vercingetorix.
Yeah. The Gaulish
that?
leaders that's Julius Caesar beat at Alesia.
Yes.
Ah. Oh, and there's another. Look at the wood base. That's also what's his name's base, right? From Long Island. Is that the same type of thing where the base?
I'm sure painting plaid is fun as fuck too. It's
Look
not
at
quite
that, huh?
plaid, but
Now those little designs on the shield, is that all freehand?
Yep.
Wow, Mike, that's crazy, man.
dude,
Oh, I see. Is that life color? I see over there.
Yeah, there's some life color there. There's some so I mean, I'm a bit of a paint whore, so I'll try whatever I possibly can. I think this guy I painted mostly in life color.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Well, the non-metal gold I did for sure.
it almost looks like he's standing in front of a fire or something. Like there's the light source is coming not from above.
Yep.
It's more from the front, right?
This was an absolutely fantastic sculpt again from Fair Miniatures. It's just such a great piece.
That patterned whatever, the red or whatever color.
Plaid.
Yep.
Plaid. Wow, that's all freehand too. Like that's
Oh,
it.
yeah.
All spaced
Yeah.
out evenly, perfectly
yeah.
even.
Yeah, you can go away now.
Fucking Mike. This is another great piece, Mike. Excellent, excellent. And you know what's good though? This is a nice having this guy like this. I know we have a couple other male busts, but this is a nice compliment to some of those in your face, big boob chicks holding
Yep.
this, that, and the other.
Well, he's got some great shading on the face.
Yeah.
The armor I was really playing with. Yeah, I mean, this was kind of an earlier attempt at the non-metal gold, which I hadn't done, and I was very happy with how he came out.
Yeah.
I think the contrast from the red to the gold really works well too, right? Like,
Yep.
it gives you probably a little bit of wiggle room, I would say.
Yeah.
And because I was using the life color, again, you don't think about it, but like when you're painting non-metal gold, there's a lot of they have a green in that set, which is fantastic. And the green helps to offset some of the yellows and it just works fantastically.
Excellent piece, Mike. This is excellent too, man.
Thanks.
You know, I mean, if this isn't, I mean, we're almost at an hour and a half, and we did top out a little over 30 a little while ago. If this is not inspiring for people to try something new, now, granted, it can be very intimidating to see work like that and try to replicate something, especially.
I think that's the big issue with people wanting to tackle figures, right? Is because it seems really complicated. There's a lot of shit and a lot of colors
Santucci
mixing.
can do it. Anybody can.
Wait, stop. So
Yeah.
I left the hobby doing mostly like, routine stuff in 95. My God, it speaks. Yes, it's true. And I got back. I tried to get back in 08, didn't work. 2014, I did. And one of the first things I did was I found a George Washington 1/16 scale figure. And I found a few other 1/16 scale World War I figures. And I just started painting. Because the one thing I always wanted to do when I was a kid and into my teens and early 20s, I wanted to be a figure painter because I'm just awed by them, how well they can really set even a vignette or a diorama or just them themselves tell a story and how they just like pop. So I just went at it and just practice. It wasn't until I started meeting Mike at ArmorCon, and then Taesung and Calvin and others like Greg DeFranco and Jack Lynch and oh no, I'm forgetting somebody.
Dude, you're going to be a master in no time.
Name who runs MFCA? Jeffries.
Yeah, Jeffries.
Jay. What? Who's the head guy at MFCA? Like on his name.
Horan built, not Bora.
No, who does the announcing at MFCA?
Oh, Dennis?
Dennis Levy.
Yeah.
But
His,
You know
his
Dennis
box
well.
fire
You know
arms are
Dennis too.
fantastic.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like Mike Hilleary, like, for those who are watching, like Mike Hilleary and Greg DeFranco took me. Mike, you took me around like the last time I was here and showed me lighting. How you're trying, how your next level is to show shadow and light and stuff, and you're seeing it progress in your work. But you got to try it. You can't just sit here and go, "Oh, I can never do it." I mean, you
Totally.
gotta. I mean, you've said, and I've heard it from Greg, how far I've come in 5 or 6 years.
You have.
Yeah,
We try to
Well,
limit the praise for Toots to once.
All right,
every other
all right.
show.
I mean,
Calm down.
That's
you
fair.
wanna-
That's fair.
if you want to talk about another style of figure painting, which is kind of like more my like what I want to do, is like the bigger, Marvel characters and shit like that.
Yeah.
right?
I mean, so Floyd. I don't know if you guys know.
I love
know
Floyd's a great friend. Floyd's a great guy. He
His
does a
stuff
big
is
bust.
fantastic, and it's
Those
large.
huge busts he does.
I absolutely. So this is. I kind of ended my presentation at the ArmorCon with this, but I would say this to, and I have been saying this to anybody, and Tooch, you can back me up here. The best way to get better at painting figures, and it's kind of counterintuitive, but I swear this is what you got to do. Get a large scale bust.
Yeah.
And because it will force you to paint flesh, paint skin, get faces down. And that's the hang up. When I talk to people and people ask me about how do I do this, how do I do that, it's always about the face and about they're okay with painting uniforms, and whether they're doing it well or not doesn't really matter, but they're comfortable with that. But it's
like the big figure guys call the head the portrait.
Yeah, exactly.
You're painting the portrait, right?
Yep. And so I just think that painting a large scale, and by large scale, I mean like, get a 1/10, 1/12 scale bust and have
1/4
and
1/4
or 1/4. I mean, well, but here's the thing. 1/4 scares the shit out of me because the blending you have to do at that scale is crazy.
Hold on now. But you can use your airbrush.
Well, okay.
This is why I choose these, because I'm an airbrush guy.
That's a whole nother Megillah. I use my
Rob.
airbrush sparingly, but I do use my airbrush. But I think that like painting a 1/10 scale with your brush, Rob, will force you to tackle things like mixing pigments, blending, different kinds of blending, right? So whether I'm doing a wet blend, a base coat, a glaze, like you'll learn so much. It doesn't matter if it turns out like shit or not. It really doesn't. If you keep going at it, you'll pick up all the requisite skills that you need to be on your path towards being a better figure painter. And I mean, I'll just say this again. I'm out there. If anybody has any questions, hit me up on Facebook, send me a note on the website. I love looking at people's stuff and helping them out.
Do you have a good webcam, Mike?
I do. I haven't done a lot of like live painting things. That's another thing my wife has been up my ass about.
Which we are going to look to do, if probably starting in the new year, to try to do some, because I mean, I got some videos and demos or like tutorials that I have filmed. I just haven't had a time to edit them together and get them up on YouTube. It's just a lot of work, a lot of shit going on. Everybody knows, and I'm not this, it's like a lot of stuff goes on a daily basis with the hobby, whether it's building and doing something and doing this, that, and the other. There's just not a lot of time to sit in front of the computer to edit also videos with all the other stuff. But we want to try to do some live demos here on our StreamYard. So if, like I was going to say, I'm going to try to do some soldering demos and stuff with the camera and StreamYarding it right on the computer. It's easier. It's better, right, Frankie? If have someone moderate it. If you ever wanted to do a painting demo, we can do it here on the Insanity TV. And we can, and if all you need is something that's going to be able to, just show the picture up on the screen. It doesn't have to be perfect, but
I've got a couple cameras I could probably use.
We'll test it out though. We'll do some test runs and see how it
I
works.
just haven't done it. I mean, it's like painting that Marilyn Monroe bust in front of all you guys.
Oh, that was great, man. I talked about it on the podcast. That was an amazing. I mean, it's no joke. That was awesome watching you do it. And you did it half drunk. You were already like, what is it? You and
Well,
Jim
that's
Gould,
what's called muscle memory
Right.
at that point, right?
him and Jim Gould finished off. What was it? What
Avalor.
An Avalor. Him and Jim Gould polished. I'm like, Jim, what happened? He's like, Hillary wound up staying over. We finished off that bottle. He wasn't leaving. I was like, oh shit, dude, you guys are fucked. But in all seriousness, dude, you banged that out like it was nothing. Like in 2 hours, you're like, it's like, holy shit, it's fucking Marilyn Monroe.
It's just like what you guys do with armor. It's a process. Once you get familiar with it, it's and then I'm not going to say there's not any artistry there, because absolutely there is, but I think you can get good results without having to go like.
Don't get me wrong.
I was listening to a podcast today and I had a little bit of an epiphany, and it was when they're talking about is modeling art, right?
Yep.
No, for the most part, modeling is not art. Figure painting is art,
right?
And I'm like, it's
I guess
it.
What show was that?
Plastic,
What
man.
What podcast?
It was just kind of a combination of just listening to a few things that people were saying, and then I put it.
Well, what show was it? Was it? You don't know what show?
Well, I was listening to an older episode of The Posse today, but I was just
no.
But it just made me think about that, where everybody's plans are. Like you talk to Will Patterson, he's like, the modeling is not.
You know what it is I just feel like, and I know this is where we get into a debate. This is just me here, and I've been painting a lot more. So anybody in the chat or anybody listening to this afterwards wants to talk shit, I will say that painting armor is very formulaic, and I'm not saying that painting figures isn't. But
it can be. It can
be. And
that's what I was getting at.
Right. But
it could just be a process, because he was talking about process. Right.
Yep.
Right. But
that's what it is.
Armor paint. I'm just sticking to armor. I'm not talking about like cars and planes and ships and shit, but or sci-fi. But armor itself, most people use a formula, and it's very formulaic. They do this, they do that, they do this. Now they do this modulation shit, and then everything's coordinated madness. You want to make the model look weathered? Just keep throwing more and more shit on it and streak it and this and it's done. You want to paint that fucking Viking figure? You're not just fucking throwing shit at it and hoping it sticks. Well, you got to know what you're doing.
But here's the thing, though.
I get it, but when they're good at it, it's the same as what we do.
Well, and I would say that, and I would argue, even though I don't like to prop you armor boys up too much because you guys got problems, but right? Thank you, Frankie.
Hello.
You guys, there is a formula to what you guys do, but I couldn't do it. You guys have been doing it for a long time. And so it's the same thing with figure painting. The formula will get you 80% of the way there, 90% of the way there. Maybe the rest is artistic, but I think getting some foundational pieces together, formula is fine. And for most guys out there who are just trying to, just trying to get their legs under them, that'll work. And then if it works for them and they're happy with it and they want to try other shit, great. But at least get the basics down, So,
Steve, Steve mentioned about a tiger head on it. That would be artistic. Listen, I'm not saying painting tanks or whatever armor pieces and things doesn't take art, doesn't take some sort of artistic ability. It does, right? I don't know, man. I mean, you go into some of those shows like an MFCA show or an MMSI show, or some of these big figure shows elsewhere in the world, what Calvin Tan does, or yourself, Mike, or Greg DeFranco, or some of these other guys. Listen, man, anybody can fucking paint the model and throw a wash on it. You can't just do that with a figure. You have to have skill. Like, you know what would be a great challenge? Finding somebody. And I know Jim Rice does his classes and stuff like that. I know that you did your seminar and things like that. And I know that Scale 75 has a nice little tutorial, like maybe very basic, but a good tutorial on how to lay down face tones or skin tones. I would love to get somebody who never painted a figure before and have them learn from somebody and see how well, like never did karate before, and see if they can become a black belt, like
Right.
Daniel LaRusso
Well,
and Karate Kid, something like that.
I mean, I've had people come to my studio here who are asking for like painting tutorials, and they're sitting to the left of me. I'm doing my thing, but I'm showing them what I'm doing.
Right.
Don Johnson.
Don.
Ed
Don's a great
Schaefer,
guy.
right? I mean,
Yeah, I love Ed.
Floyd,
Mhm.
come in here and like, okay, so tell me how to do that. And there is a process that you can follow that'll get you. It'll get you going, you know. And I encourage everybody who has an interest, try it, and and then see how you do, and then just keep going from there.
We're gonna look at Frank's holding up a bus from something. Is that what's his name from Mandalorian? That's what's his name? That's the bounty hunter.
Nice.
Yeah, Cad Bane.
Cad Bane. There you go. Oh, you got to send that to Hillary to paint.
So I bought this expressly to be a better figure painter. I got a buddy of mine who printed it for me. And
there's no paint on it, Frank.
Well, this is Riv style right now. Riv, I got a message for you. Okay, here, just read that while I'm working. Here.
Someone out there is a tree tirelessly producing oxygen for you. You owe it. Thanks a lot, Frank.
That's brilliant. I love it.
You know what?
An apology?
You know what? I'm not doing a Friday night live cast for you. Let me get
Calvin on. Did it. How was your horror fleck marathon last night?
Great time, man. Great move. Trick or treat again, and Black Phone 2 was great. But anyway,
Mike, I've been paying attention, and some of the stuff I picked up from you tonight, this is my test piece.
What I would love to do is, in all seriousness, Mike,
Frankie, hit me up with any questions, man.
Right. I would love to try to do a tutorial like class on here, like on one night, like on a Friday night or something, and see if we can get people to come in.
Rob,
and watch and interact.
I love it.
I would really like to see if we can do it.
Yeah, I'd love it. All
right. And it would be just you. It won't be like fucking 10 of us on the screen. It's just going to be you.
All right.
Big screen. Like it's going to be like this. It's going to be Mike Hilleary. Oh, what did I just do?
Nope. It's perfect. It's just Mike, not you, Rob. Because
there we go. We're going to have Hillary right there. See, that's all we're going to have. We're going to have Hillary like that on the screen. All right, so we're going to kind of wind down. Frankie starts getting a little nervous when we get past the hour and a half.
My son is here, so I got to get rolling.
I know. We're going to sign off. We're going to get going. It was really
good. Come say hi.
Hookers and blow this weekend.
He doesn't want to be on a podcast.
Steve is saying tutorial will be great, and Dave Kettler, my buddy Dave from Michigan's here. Dave will definitely say he'll be in it. Yeah, we're definitely.
There he is.
Of course, you roped me into this.
All right, there's your son, right? Yeah, look at his son, man. There he is.
Back from Penn State.
Back from Penn State. Look, the poor coach got fired, man, over there. What's going on?
Oh, that's been rough.
Hey, how many?
You're losing anyway, so it can't get any worse than you've been doing over there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not.
He's a Giants fan too, so he's used to disappointment.
No, yeah, like you guys have been really disappointed over the last X amount of years. Didn't you win the Super Bowl 14 years ago?
Well, Rib's a Jets fan.
All right. At least we're not Jets fans.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. It could be worse, right? Exactly. We're gonna sign off. Your poor father. Your father wants to hang out with you, and Frank wants to hang out with his wife. And me, Tooch, and Rob Adams are gonna be in the build room after this. All right, guys. We're gonna definitely start. Mike, we really appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks, man.
You're a great friend. You know we love you, man. Great guy. I'm looking forward.
I'll be hitting you up. So
yeah, Mike is one of the.
I see it, Tooch. I see it.
He's a lunatic, Mike.
You might be happy when you see this in a month.
All right.
Do not hang out with Hillary at a show. You will get drunk and probably forget who you are. Maybe even.
I like to do
pants.
the ones.
I like that, Rob. Very nice. Very nice.
All
right, so let me give one more shameless plug. Everybody, Long Island show, Freeport, November 14th and 15th. It's a good time.
Right. We're going to be there ourselves. We're not going to be set up for a podcast or anything there. We're just going to be patrons.
I may or may not be sober, depending on when
you'll probably be intoxicated. We are going to take pictures there, right? We're going to do the picture thing.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
You're going to write the show report. Mike, you're going to do the show report. Not Tooch. His show reports have been terrible lately. K-Stone's
going to be there, I think, on Saturday, too.
Tooch is like, why? What happened?
Sunday's gonna be a
you've
real
been
problem
relegated,
for me.
Tooch. But no, we're gonna sign off. All right, guys. So, Mike, thanks for coming on, man. We really
Hey.
appreciate it. All right.
Thank
And,
you guys. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, and we're gonna be in the build
good
room
evening,
tonight on the
gentlemen.
Discord if you guys want to come in.
All right.
All right. Anybody else
Ricky,
want to say
thanks for
anything to Mike?
putting up with Riv.
Anybody else want to
anytime,
say
man.
anything to Mike? Anything?
I'm sorry?
Anybody else want to say anything to Mike before we leave?
Well, nobody's saying go fuck yourself, so that's good.
Well, there's one.
There you go.
Why would I just tell myself to go fuck myself?
Yeah,
Is that
Mike-
too meta?
Mike
I
is
didn't
wrong.
say it.
All right, guys, we're gonna sign
All right,
off.
boys.
So, hold
Hey,
on.
thanks. That was
Hold on.
fun.
Don't go anywhere, Mike. We're gonna get sign off, and then you got to stay on for 2 more seconds when we sign off. Right? All right.
I
So
need a
for the
drink.
for
I'm
the
dry.
Modeling Insanity podcast and TV, I'm Rob Riv. I'm with my co-host Frankie Donati,
Thanks for spending your time with us.
Rob Adams,
Have a good evening, everyone.
Santucci,
Build what you love what you build.
and there we go, Mike. And with Mike, a special guest, Mike Hilleary.
Paint figures.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Be safe. We'll catch you on the flip side.
And here we are.